Hello, welcome back. So, this video should be shorter than the last one. We have a lot less to cover. Today we're talking about tones. So, if you don't know what I mean when I say tones, Chinese is a tonal language, and that means that you can say the same word, pronounced the same way, but with a different inflection in your voice, and that gives the word a different meaning. Now, we do not use tones in English, we use intonation, which, for example, if you want to turn a statement into a question, you might say, "You liked that movie?" And even though the actual sentence, "you liked that movie," is a statement, the way I said it clearly to an English speaker makes it a question. Or even like an accusation. What, you liked that movie? Because I go up with my voice at the end of the sentence. Now, in Chinese, it's smaller than that. It's not at a sentence level, it's at a word level. It's at a syllable level, in fact. So, as we talked about in the last video, syllables are made up of an initial, possibly, plus the final/tone. And there are 5 tones in Chinese. We will go through them. Now, there are 4 tones. There are 4 tones and a neutral tone. So you can think of it as 5. If you go through, starting on page 9, again, I recommend having a textbook with you. We'll go through some of this together. I'll tell you what you don't need to worry about remembering and what you should go back and practice. The tones on this first page, on page 9, it actually tells you the pitch value of each tone. That's not something I ever learned when I was learning Chinese, and it's not something you need to know or even understand, because I don't have perfect pitch or anything like that. I couldn't tell you what a pitch value of 55, 35, 214. I couldn't tell you if you're hitting that pitch or not, or if I'm hitting that pitch or not. But I can tell you what the tones sound like, which is all you really need to know. So we can actually mostly skip page 9. We'll skip page 9. Alright, so page 10. Here, I'll move over here and stick a picture up here of the picture on page 10, which is what the tones sort of look like, and that is part of the pitch, what they're showing you there. So first tone is a flat tone, and it's represented by a flat line over the vowel. So first tone is high, and just that, it's flat. The way to think of it is if you say the word ding, 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 like imitating a bell, you're pretty much using first tone. Ding, it's flat. Second tone is rising, and it's funny because you'll probably see me doing this in the class with my finger. You can also do it with your head. Those are different methods that teachers will teach students to remember to use the tone while they're speaking. Obviously, once you've been doing it for a while, you don't do that, but at the beginning, it can be quite helpful if you're trying to properly use the tones, to be able to kind of do this with your finger or your head, and it reminds you what to do with your tone. So first tone is ding. Second tone is rising, like it's a question. What? What? Or even just huh? That's what you sort of want to sound like when you're doing a second tone. You actually start a little bit lower when you're speaking, but that's what your voice does. So just you can remember it like that. So first tone like ding, ding, ding. Second tone like a question. Huh? Third tone is not something we really do in English. Can't really give you an equivalent, but it is like a check mark shape, and it's represented over the vowels as a V, and it's kind of easy to imagine what this will sound like. You go down and then up with your voice. one of the first words you'll learn is me or I, which is 我. 我. So you go down and then up. Fourth tone now is the falling tone, and that one is similar to how you would sound if you were scolding someone. If you said like, no, or like encouraging, go, go, go. It doesn't sound like much, but it is actually a falling. That's what your voice is doing. It's falling. So if you say go, you're coming from a higher point to a lower pitch. So first tone, second tone, third tone, fourth tone, and we will practice this. That's the next bit, is practicing the tones along with the audio recording. So I mean, one of the common ones is just like ma. So as I was saying, you can get a word wrong by using the wrong tone. So for example, mom is the word ma, first tone. The third tone, ma, is a horse. So that one you want to be a little careful with. You don't want to be like, you have such a lovely horse, and be gesturing to someone's mom. That would be embarrassing. So that's why tones are important in Chinese. They're not just there to make it more difficult. They do have a purpose. They tell you what the word is. Most people will still understand you in context if you use the wrong tone, but if you are speaking to a native Chinese speaker, they might be confused and they might correct you, especially if you're only saying one word. For example, if you go to a store and you say, I'm looking for and then you say something and you say it with the wrong tone, they might not know what you're talking about because it could be just about anything. Whereas if you say, the man who lives next door to me has a cat, people are probably going to understand the word cat or man, even if you've said it with the wrong tone. Because in that sentence, there are not a lot of other words that would fit in there. So, first tone, second tone, third tone, fourth tone. There's also something called the neutral tone, which is when you just kind of say the word quickly without changing the pitch of your voice. So actually, ma comes up a lot. Ma is how you make a sentence into a question. Kind of like what I did where I said, you liked that movie? Adding the word ma, with no tone makes a statement a question. So in that case, you liked that movie? Is all I have to do in English. I just have to go up with my voice. In Chinese, I still need to use all the correct tones, but if I add that word ma at the end, it makes it a statement. So it would be like, 你喜欢这个电影吗? Which, like, is how you would say that sentence and then add ma at the end to make it a question. You liked that movie? Which also is how you can change it into, it's not quite the same as saying it in English. It's you change it literally to, did you like that movie? 你喜欢这个电影吗? So those are the tones. Those are the tones. And you will hear all of these monosyllabic words. They go through all four of them. So it'd be like ma, 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 ma. In fact, they won't use the neutral tone. Now, I did tell you, for the most part, you don't have to memorize rules that they mention in this book. And like I said on page 9, you don't have to memorize or understand anything about the pitch value. That's never going to be on a test. The two rules you are going to want to remember is when there are certain words that if they are the same syllable, not like ma, like for mom, and then ma for horse, because those are two different words. But the actual way to say mom is mama, two mas. And for that, you're not going to say mama. You're not going to use the same tone twice in a row. You're going to use the first syllable will have the tone. The second syllable will be a neutral tone. So that's one rule. If a syllable is repeated, typically you drop the tone on the second syllable. So you would not say mama, you would say mama, mama. They're written the same way. They're written as the same character, but when you pronounce them, you would say mama. Same with dad, which is baba. Ba is falling. Remember, like, go, go, go. Ba. You wouldn't say ba, ba. You would say ba, ba, baba. So, mama, baba. Think of another one. 谢谢. Thank you. Which we'll learn next week as one of our useful phrases, everyday phrases. Xie, 谢, and it's falling. 谢, 谢谢. You don't say 谢谢, you say 谢谢. So that's one rule, is dropping the tone on the second syllable of a word that has the same syllable repeated. The other one, and it even has a name here, if two words, it says here at the bottom of page 11, if two third tone syllables are spoken in succession, then the first third tone becomes the second tone, a tone change that linguists call tone sandhi. So for example, and you can listen to this on the recording, they'll say it, probably better than I do, but instead of like xi li, you would say xi li. So there you go. That is it. And then actually on page 12 it goes on to talk to you about the neutral tone, but we have already talked about that. So the next thing you'll do during this week is go through, listen to these listen to the recordings, do these pronunciations, practice along with them, and there'll be an assignment on that. And then at the end of this week, there will be some listening exercises from your workbook that you can that will be made into a quiz that you actually fill out on Canvas. But overall, it's the same as your workbook exercise. So you'll be doing the workbook. You can do it in your workbook first if you want, and then complete the assignment on Canvas. So if you have any questions, let me know.